There's a number sitting between you and financial freedom right now, and it's probably a lot smaller than you think. Not 6 figures. Not some mythical enough you'll hit someday. A number you could realistically save this year. A few years ago, I sat across from a guy at a used bookstore cafe. He was maybe 50, drove a beat-up Corolla, wore the same jacket every time I saw him, and he mentioned, almost offhand, that he'd turned down a job because he didn't need it badly enough to take it. No panic, no calculation of how he'd cover rent next month. Just a calm no, I wanted that, not the Corolla. The calm, so I asked him how he got there. He didn't talk about a big salary or a lucky stock pick. He kept circling back to one figure, $8,000. Not because 8,000 is magic. It isn't. What matters is that this one number shows up at 4 different points in your financial life, doing 4 completely different jobs: a floor, a filter, a target, and a test. Once you see those 4 roles, money stops feeling like a pile of random bills and starts feeling like a system you can actually run. Job 1, the floor. Forget the advice that says your emergency fund needs to cover 6 months of expenses before it counts for anything. That's true eventually. But if you're starting from zero, 6 months of expenses might mean $20,000 or $30,000, and a number that large doesn't motivate people to save. It paralyzes them. Faced with an impossible mountain, most people just don't climb. A smaller, concrete target works differently. Something like $8,000 feels reachable, and reachable targets get hit. What's it protecting you from? Nothing dramatic. Ordinary life. The transmission that dies. The laptop that won't turn on the week of a big work deadline. A dentist bill you didn't see coming. A cut in hours. A relative who needs you to fly out unexpectedly. None of those are catastrophes on their own. What turns them into financial wounds is not having cash on hand when they hit. Without it, the same $1,200 repair bill becomes a credit card balance, and that balance becomes interest, and the interest becomes a slow leak that never quite closes. Or you delay the repair, and the small problem becomes a bigger, more expensive one. Or you cash out investments at exactly the moment the market happens to be down. That first chunk of savings isn't an investment. It's insurance against bad timing. Park it somewhere boring and liquid. A high-yield savings account is fine, and don't touch it unless it's an actual emergency. And to be clear, $8,000 isn't a universal number. Your real target depends on your expenses, how stable your income is, and what your household looks like. The point isn't the digit. It's having a specific, reachable first milestone instead of a vague someday goal that never gets started. Job 2, the filter. Once that cushion exists, the next danger is letting expensive things quietly eat the money that should be building your future. Picture 2 coworkers, both with $18,000 invested. One buys a $22,000 certified pre-owned SUV. The other, eyeing a flashier trim with more features, finances a $42,000 truck instead. Same monthly payment range, comfortably affordable on paper. Here's the balance sheet. Most people never look at. The truck is consuming capital. The $18,000 sitting in the market is producing the possibility of more capital. That $20,000 gap between the 2 vehicles, left invested for 20 years at a 10% average annual return, would grow to somewhere around $135,000 before taxes. That return isn't guaranteed. Markets are messy, not straight lines. But the principle holds regardless of the exact number. Money spent today can never compound for you tomorrow. This isn't an argument for buying the cheapest possible car. Sometimes spending more is completely rational safety, reliability, a genuine need. The real question isn't, can I afford the payment? It's, what is this purchase preventing my money from becoming? Job 3, the target. Now flip from spending to investing. For someone whose budget can handle it, $8,000 a year, roughly $667 a month, is a serious floor to aim for. Run that consistently for 25 years at a hypothetical 8% return, and you're looking at somewhere near $585,000. At 10%, closer to $787,000. Again, illustrations, not promises. Nobody can guarantee a return. What those numbers actually demonstrate is that you don't need to pick the next big winning stock. You don't need to trade constantly or time anything perfectly. You need money flowing into productive assets consistently enough that time can do the heavy lifting. Going from investing nothing to investing $8,000 a year is the hard part. That's the behavioral leap. Once the habit exists, increasing the amount later is a much easier problem to solve because the system is already built. Job 4, the test. Here's the part high earners tend to miss. It's not only about how much you invest, it's about how much you require to live. Under the common 4% guideline, someone spending $4,000 a month needs roughly $1.2 million invested to sustain that. Bump it to $6,000 a month, and the target jumps to about $1.8 million. At $8,000 a month, you're looking at $2.4 million. That's the invisible cost of lifestyle creep. An extra $400 a month on a nicer apartment doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but $400 a month is $4,800 a year. And under that same rough 25 times rule, sustaining it permanently could require another $120,000 sitting in your portfolio. A better apartment isn't just a housing decision. A newer car isn't just a transportation decision. Lifestyle inflation is dangerous precisely because no single upgrade feels like the one that broke anything. Rent creeps up, then the car, then a few subscriptions, then dinners out become routine because you're too busy to cook. None of it feels reckless in isolation. Together, it quietly raises the amount your future self has to generate every single month just to keep pace with the life you've drifted into. So before you let a new expense become permanent, there's a simple move worth making. Simulate it first. Say you're eyeing an apartment that costs $500 more a month. Don't sign anything yet. For 2 or 3 months, live as if you already pay it. Send that extra $500 into savings instead of spending it. If your goals stay on track and it doesn't hurt, you've learned the upgrade is genuinely within reach. If those months feel brutal, you've learned something more valuable. The upgrade is affordable on paper, but not sustainable in practice. That distinction is the whole game. Affordable just means you can cover the payment. Sustainable means you can cover it while still saving, still investing, still handling emergencies, still keeping options open. Those are not the same thing, and the stress test tells you which one you're actually dealing with before the commitment becomes permanent. Stacker all 4 jobs together, and the pattern is obvious. Build a reachable cash floor first. Let that floor protect you from bad timing. Before any major purchase, ask what it's costing you in future compounding, not just monthly payments. Aim for a real investing floor once your basics are covered. Then keep a constant eye on recurring expenses, because every new permanent cost quietly raises the number you eventually need to be free. None of this makes anyone rich overnight, and $8,000 was never a universal rule. It's a way of thinking. The actual lesson is this: financial freedom isn't built purely by earning more. It's built by creating distance between what you earn, what you spend, and what you genuinely need. Cash reserves stop emergencies from making decisions for you. Controlled purchases leave more money free to compound. Consistent investing puts time to work on your side. And keeping lifestyle creep in check shrinks the number you need to hit in the first place. That guy in the coffee shop wasn't wealthy because of some secret income stream. He was wealthy because he needed less. And needing less, it turns out, might be the most underrated financial strategy there is.